Good morning, Year 1. Today, for our maths lesson, our learning objective is to understand the terms row and columns. Okay, let's get ready for maths then. Let's warm up our brains. Okay, Year 1, let's start. Let's see if we can count in ones all the way to 100. Are you ready? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Did you manage to make it all the way up to 100? Well done if you did. Give yourself a tap on the back. Okay, Year 1. For the next part of our warm-up, I'd like you to go on a 2D shape hunt where you are now. How many different 2D shapes can you find in 1 minute? You may want to pause this video while you go and have a look. And don't forget, you can send me a message in Google Classroom to tell me how many different 2D shapes you have found. Today, Year 1, we are going to be learning about making arrays. But what are arrays? Arrays have rows and columns. You may have heard the word rows and column before. If you look at these photographs, you can see people sitting in rows. Look at the children here, sitting in rows and standing in rows, having a photograph taken. Here, people are sitting in rows at the cinema. These people are sitting in rows on an aeroplane. And the children in the classroom are sitting in rows having a class photograph taken. Okay, Year 1. First of all, we are going to think about rows. We are going to see if we can find the rows in this picture. We need to remember that rows go across from left to right, like this. Pause the video while you count up the number of rows in this picture. Okay, let's check to see how many rows there are. Here is 1 row. Here is another row. Here is another row. Here is another row. Can you see how many rows we have all together? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We can see 4 rows in this picture. Right, let's think about columns now. Remember, columns go from top to bottom like this. Have a look at the picture to see if you can work out how many columns there are. Pause the video while you do this. Okay, let's check to see how many columns we have all together. Here is 1 column. Here is 1 column. Here is 1 column. We have 1, 2, 3 columns all together on this picture. Right, year 1, let's have a look at this next picture. I've sorted these things by colour, but are the colours sorted in rows or columns? What do you think? Yes, you're right. They've been sorted in rows. Have a look and see if you can answer this question. Which animal can you see in the 4th row? Yes, that's right. A tiger is in the 4th row. What about in the 2nd row? Which animal can you see in the 2nd row? Yes, that's right. You can see a chick in the 2nd row. What about the 3rd column? Which animal can you see in the 3rd column? Yes, that's right. You can see an octopus in the 3rd column. Right, year 1. What I'd like you to do now is to look at my arrays and see if you can tell me how many rows and how many columns there are. Remember that rows go from left to right and columns go from top to bottom. Pause the video while you work it out. Okay, let's check. Let's see how many rows of apples we have. Okay, remember rows go from left to right. So we have 1 row here and 1 row here. We have 2 rows all together. What about the columns? Remember, columns go from top to bottom. So we have 1 column here and 1 column here. We have 2 columns all together. So in this picture, we can see 2 rows of apples and 2 columns of apples. Okay, take a look at these tomatoes now. See if you can tell me how many rows there are. Pause the video while you work it out. Okay, let's check. We have 1, 2, 3 rows. We have 3 rows. Now, let's see how many columns we have. Pause the video while you work it out. Okay, let's check how many columns we have. We have 1, 2 columns. 2 columns. Okay, year 1, here's another array. This time we can see some tangerines. Can you tell me how many rows of tangerines you can see? And then when you've done that, work out how many columns of tangerines you can see. Pause the video while you work it out. Okay, let's check to see how many rows of tangerines we have. Are you ready? We have 1, 2, 3 rows of tangerines. 3 rows. Let's check to see how many columns we have. Are you ready? You can check with me. We have 1, 2, 3 columns. We have 3 columns. So in this array, you can see 3 rows of tangerines and 3 columns of tangerines. Okay, year 1, here is another array. I'd like you to see if you can work out how many rows of grapes we have and how many columns of grapes we have. Pause the video while you work it out. Okay, let's check. We'll look for the rows first. Remember, when we're looking for rows, we move across from left to right. Okay, let's see how many rows we have. Are you ready? We have 1, 2, 3 rows of grapes. 3 rows of grapes. How about the columns? Can you count those with me too? Remember, when we're looking for columns, we move from top to bottom. Okay, let's check how many columns we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns altogether. We have 4 columns. So, year 1, in this array, you can see 3 rows and 4 columns. Okay, year 1, for your activity this morning, I'd like you to make some of your own arrays, and I'd like you to use things that you have at home to make those arrays. You need to make at least 2 different types of arrays, but if you want to make more, then that's fine. Don't forget to hand in your pictures. Plenary. Okay, year 1, look at my array of buttons. Look at how many there are in each row and how many buttons there are in each column. Using your counting patterns, can you work out how many buttons there are altogether? Pause the video while you work it out. Okay, let's check how many rows we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rows. 5 rows of buttons. How many columns do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. So on this array, you can see 5 rows and 5 columns. Okay, so the buttons are in rows of 5 and in columns of 5. So that means we can count in 5s to help us work out the total number of buttons. Let's try. You can count in 5s with me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So we have 25 buttons altogether. Did you guess right? If you did, well done. Give yourselves a pat on the back.